The mission of the museum is to remember the 6 million Jews and others who perished during the Holocaust, honor the survivors' legacy, and teach the dangers of hate, prejudice, and apathy. Our job in education is to put action to the mission of the museum.
The Holocaust is a human story. You can teach students how to be leaders all the way from pre-K to middle school to high school, that they have voices, they can be empowered citizens and to create positive changes around them.
I really wanted us to have more empowerment from the standpoint of our educators going into the schools. That was the beginning of Educator in Motion.
The Educator in Motion program is an outreach program for schools and community groups to teach about the Holocaust, other genocides, human rights, and active citizenship. The whole goal is to be interactive. Instead of just standing there and lecturing and telling them what to think, we're helping them engage with the subject. Hopefully we can generate some interest in coming to the museum, learning a little bit more.
Many of the students that we go and teach, this was their first introduction to the history of the Holocaust, and they became very upset and angry. How could something like this happen? What can I do today? And really empowering them to be more inclusive in the world that they create.
All of the programs can be taught either in English or in Spanish. That includes from elementary to high school. Being able to communicate with someone in their native tongue is really helpful, and it really connects with them.
I think one of the programs that speaks to me directly is our Engines of Change. It's a program that helps young people find their voice and learn how to be upstanders.
The Engines of Change program began in 2016. Students from all over the city learn about these important lessons of the Holocaust, as well as examine important social issues that are in the world today. We often bring in guest speakers, we take field trips, we do community service projects. All of this helps young people understand what it means to be an upstander in their own world. In 2019, we realized that our capacity is limited by the size of our classroom. So we launched the Engines of Change campus program to have hundreds of students involved in this program. The education team works with teachers in many ways. We have the Warren and Specter Warren Fellowship, which trains pre-service teachers. We also have the Max M. Kaplan Summer Institute for Educators, and this is for teachers already in the classroom. Teachers can leave the institute with actual lessons that they can put into place in their classroom. One other way that we support teachers is the Henia Leibman Fellowship. We send 2 educators to Yad Vashem in Israel to study during the summer for 3 weeks.
We have a series of educator workshops. Educators are able to tour the museum space, whether here in person or virtually. And when they leave the workshop, they can take resources to help their students engage in these very important topics.
So at the Holocaust Museum Boniuk Library, we offer educators curriculum guides that will help them start their lesson plans off for the year. We also have digital classroom sets for specific book titles and research guides for students, along with numerous bilingual materials.
Holocaust Museum Houston began a trunk program almost 25 years ago. We had physical trunks filled with books and resources that were sent all over the country. We were the first museum to do that. As the years went by, we converted our physical trunks into a trunk full of iPads. This year, we're launching an eBooks trunk.
It's all online, and it gives them basically the whole catalog of books that are associated with each grade level. It really helps broaden the reach of the museum. Some students can't make it here physically, but having those resources really lets them see all of this new information.
This museum is for everyone. Being a bilingual museum adds a whole nother dimension. We'll have more opportunity for new groups to share their cultural background that we really have never had before.
Latinx initiatives began in 2015, and the goal is to support Latinx representation at the museum through our exhibitions, public programs, and education initiatives. As a part of Latino initiatives, we're offering the Silverman Latin American Institute that brings educators from Latin America as well as the United States to the museum to learn about the Holocaust, human rights, and social justice.
We were very excited, even though it was virtual, to kick off our first year, and it was extremely successful.
I hope this museum becomes a place of information and support and resources for the vast array of communities that come together to make Houston such a great community. It's really a focus on lifelong education, meeting people wherever they are. And so our education programs are always working to try to be as inclusive as possible to the widest range of individuals.
I was a classroom teacher for 20 years, and during that time I began teaching about the Holocaust, and I could see the impact it had on my students. I feel very passionate about teaching these important lessons so that we can make the world a better place.